The other day, Esther sat to meditate. She's doing it every day these days for 15 or 20 minutes. And at about the end of the 15 minutes, as she began to sort of awaken back into her awareness of her body and her day and the room that she was sitting in, this very powerful thought came into her mind. And she said to a friend, I just had the best thought. And then she realized, I received that thought, I didn't think it. And that's something that we're going to be talking a lot about in these days that we are together. The difference between thinking a thought and receiving a thought. Because so often when you are in step one, you're thinking thoughts, you're projecting thoughts, just like you speak words. But when you really get into the receiving mode, when you're receiving thoughts, when you're receiving the blending thoughts of source energy, it would be very difficult for you to know the difference between a thought that you're thinking and a thought that you're receiving, with this one very powerful distinction. If you feel enormous satisfaction, then this is a thought that you have received. It's a culmination of thought that we've all been thinking on your behalf, and you've tuned into it, and now you've got it too. And now in that satisfaction, we are one, you see. It may seem to some of you that we are a little out here on the leading edge of vibration and thought, but we want you to leave this gathering understanding that you are the one who will turn these thoughts to things, and that while you are avidly wanting some things to be turned into things that are different than the things that they are already turned into, we want you to know that while that's all coming, and that there is not one manifestation that you wish for that we do not wish for with you as well. But what really rings our bells is you getting into the flow of this energy stream and living happily ever after, as you're getting ready to be ready, to be ready, to be ready, to be ready. And the reason that that matters so much to us, and the reason that we know that in time it will come to matter so much to you, is because there's no ending to what we are becoming. All we can do is be ready, to be ready, to be ready, to be ready, to be ready. When you think about it, those things that you've been asking for and those things that you've been desiring, you know, those big things that you want so much that make you happy for the afternoon, those relationships that you've looked for, and then before you know it, you're just taking them for granted. Those things that you thought you would just die if you didn't get, and then you got them, and now you don't really care that much about them. That's because there's always going to be more. There's always going to be more in the manifestation. The manifestation is mostly always about step one. Oh, did you hear that? Manifestation is mostly always about step one. Manifestations, these manifestations that you've been hanging your hat on and hanging your heart on, that you want so much, these manifestations that you feel that you must have. Do you know the satisfaction in those manifestations is not that long? And before you turn around, those manifestations are full of what? More contrast to cause you to launch more rockets, because it's not the being there that it's about, it's the getting there that it's about, you see. And there's always going to be some new place to get to. So when your parents said to you, you're never satisfied, you want to say to them, pretty true. And when your parents say to you, you act like the entire world revolves around you, you want to say, yep, pretty much does. And when your parents say to you, life's not supposed to be all fun and games for you, you want to be able to say, pretty much is. Because the satisfaction factor is what you have come for. Sometimes people worry that we're teaching you to be selfish. And we say, indeed we are. Because if you are not selfish enough to identify what will satisfy you, and to find the vibrational frequency that brings it about again and again and again, then you have not reconnected with the energy that you really are. Then you have not replenished yourself with this God force that is there for you. Then you are not in the receiving mode. Then you are not connected to all that is. Then you are not tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. Then you are not the full being that you are. And anything less than that is just not enough for most of the time. Step one is a place that you must be, and you must be often. And when you ask, it is always given, and step two kicks in right away. But your emphasis must be upon step three. You must figure out how to get into that steady replenishing mode. So we have some tricks up Esther's sleeves, and some processes, some of which you are well aware of, and some new ways of looking at this. and it is our expectation that you are about to enter the vibrational atmosphere of continuous satisfaction. It's our expectation that the things that you've been asking for will begin flowing into your experience in great abundance, and that in a very short time you will realize that what we are saying is really the way that it is, that it really wasn't about them. They were just the excuse that you needed to reach for vibrational alignment with who you really are, and that the vibrational alignment has always been the great prize that you're looking for. It's nice to feel the energy that creates worlds coursing through you, and it's a wonderful thing to softly intend something with no angst or resistance, and then to see that intention just unfold right before you. It is such a wonderful thing to be in this body and to feel the cooperative universe acting at your behest, responding to your pure heart, responding to who you are and what you're asking for, just like you knew that it would. It's such a wonderful thing when you come into consistent vibrational harmony with who you are, occasionally stepping into the chaos of what's already manifested, just enough to refresh the vibrational reality and get you going again. Now, we do have to say to you that you have chosen an environment where the contrast is very slight. Step one will be at a minimum in these days that we are together. But don't worry, you have enough in your vortex to keep yourselves busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. And so there will be no shortage of stuff for us to co-create together. As we are moving forward, we'll ask you what you want to talk about. We encourage you not to spend a lot of time suffering over what you might say when you get into the hot seat. We would like you to feel spontaneous in your interaction with us. Strong desire is a wonderful thing. Soft desire sometimes can even be more productive. We're going to show you how. If you can ramp the urgency back just a little bit out of the things that seem to matter so much, you are much more likely to be in a vibrational place of receptivity. We want you to think about what being in the receptive mode means. For years we called it the art of allowing. And what that means is the art of allowing who you really are to flow to you and through you. More recently, we've been talking about getting into the receptive mode, because we've convinced many of you that your vortex exists, that this vibrational reality exists, and that the things that you want to experience are ripe and ready for your receiving of them. But we want you to feel the hands in the clay experience of tuning your frequency so that you can feel yourself honing in or drifting away. We want you to feel what it feels like to tune your frequency to that, so that you can actually feel the thoughts turning to things in your experience. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. We can feel the degree of receptivity that you've got going on. We have made many promises here tonight, and there is not one of them that collectively we will not keep with each other. The environment in which we are focused will prove to be the most productive environment or experience for tuning yourself to the frequency of your true selves. This will not be a process of you thinking so much as it will be a process of you receiving the thoughts that we are projecting to you. It's already beginning to happen. When you find your mouth moving right along with Esther's, you'll realize that you're really in the receiving mode. When you start anticipating the direction that we're going with something, you'll realize that you're right in the receiving mode. This is a time for you to discover what true and steady alignment really is all about. And for those who will be watching you, those who maybe didn't come here with you, who love you so much or who can't stand the sight of you, who have stayed back on the shore somewhere, who are eager or not so eager for your return. When you return to them, you will be different to them. And they will say to you things like, you are different. Did you get a beard? You are different. Did you cut your hair? You are different. You feel different to me. And your words to them won't be that meaningful to them, because they won't be up to speed with you. But you can set them at ease by saying to them, I think what happened is that I discovered really the essence of who I am, and I'm no longer feeling unhappy about anything. I'm just accepting myself as the worthy being that I am, and good things are on the horizon for me. And they will wonder what you've been drinking, but they will see a difference in you that they will try to describe to you in ways like, I don't know, you just seem more confident, or that edginess seems to be gone, or you just seem more at one with yourself, or you're a lot more fun to be with now, you know. And you will know what happened. You'll know that you changed the habit or nature, that you've stopped giving so much attention to what is, and you are less of a reactor to what is, and you've been tuning yourself to the frequency of who you really are, so that you are receiving thoughts and inspiration. So instead of needing to motivate yourself, you're feeling the inspiration that comes forth from within. Instead of feeling that things need to be different, you are understanding how they are, and you're understanding that how they are is working out to yours and others' benefit. You're not freaking out so much, they'll say. When you left, you were freaking out about that and that and that. What's happened to you? Why are you not freaking out anymore? And you'll say, because I understand that everything is working out for us, and where things are right now is exactly where they are best to be in order for things to work out for all of us in the way that we really want them to be. And they'll say, come back to me, my complaining friend. Come, watch CNN with me. Come with me and complain with me as you once have done. And you say, I'll come every now and again, because I do need a little refresher of what I'm putting into the vortex. But for me, I think I've done enough of that. And now I'm tuning to the receptive mode where the solutions are. I've been too long in the problems, and now I'm tuned to where the solutions are. We are enjoying you already. There is great love here for you. And what a wonderful time we are anticipating. There is great love here for you. And for now, we are complete. It's going to be so fun. Thank you for coming. I'm so excited about this week. Yes.